Hi, Peter. Can you hear me? Peter. Yeah, we gotta hold on. Whoa. Oh,
Hi.
change.
Hello.
So
Hi, Jennifer.
We supposed to bring canned items to all our meetings now? I think it will be at every meeting there, so.
so we are west. Hmm. We're West Island. Testing 1, 2. Good morning. You guys have we might have to switch the way that this. How about that? Peter says, hearing you, can't see anything. Is the Zoom camera on? Can you put the volume down?
I'll go back.
Here's right here. It's right here. Harrison, you're the only one that can fix this. The upstairs is off. What'd you do? How about now? Oh, I am on mute. I am. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Is
I
it
can
off?
I can hear you fine, Jennifer.
I'll do it the opposite way.
Hi, just give me one moment and I'm working on this and I'll come right over to you.
Absolutely can't make it, and I'm assuming Dumonte's not gonna be here to present it.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Sorry.
what?
Badge for John.
I don't know anything about that.
Well, if he's not, you're in charge of membership and presenting the blue badge.
You just put it right here.
Okay,
We could take
sorry,
it like this.
a little more context. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Sorry. Testing, testing.
I'm so used.
1, 2, 1, 2. All good, yeah. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. How's that sound?
It sounds great.
Does that sound better?
Upside down.
Upside down. Beat that.
Got it.
Upside down.
There you go.
Hello, hello. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's edition of the Raleigh Area Rotary Club. If you guys would, we're going to start our meeting. Quick reminder for you. Let's get our slides going up here, but a quick reminder for you guys that we've got the parking code up here. If you parked in the garage, it's important that you start with this parking code so that you don't get any charges from the garage. So if you haven't taken time to do that, please do scan yourself in, okay? Next, we're going to do an invocation and pledge, and Tom is going to come up and do our invocation and pledge for us. Oh, I didn't ring the bell? All right, hang on. There we are. Thank you, Jen. There we go. Tom, thank you for preparing something for us this morning. Yep. Here are, sir.
Thank you. We all bow our heads, please. Our Heavenly Father, we gather today in fellowship and service, grateful for the opportunity to come together as members of the Rotary community. Thank you for the gifts of leadership, compassion, commitment to each person that brings to the table. Guide our thoughts and our discussions that we may be wise, respectful, productive, and help us to serve our communities with integrity, generosity, and true spirit of service above self. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag. God bless America, land that I love, and beside her, and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, like the poem. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
All right. Welcome, everybody. And we've got an introduction of guests today. If you're a guest, we're going to come around, give you a minute to introduce yourself and talk about how you got here. This Jennifer Rodriguez, our president nominee, is going to come
Thank
around.
you. As I cut him off. Okay, if you are a guest. All right. Here you are. You're first. Tell us who you are.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Karen Jordan. I'm Tom's wife and delighted to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Good morning, everyone. Christine Crosby, visiting Rotarian from the Rotary Club of Feasterville, Pennsylvania.
My name is Matthew Cook, invited by Mr. Tommy with Spangler Restoration, here for my second time, but it's great to see you all.
He'll be joining soon.
Excellent. Thank you, Jen. We appreciate that so much. As a finance update for our team, our club is in a campaign here where we're trying to get as many folks as possible enrolled on automatic payments, on auto draft. We would break this up monthly instead of quarterly, so you'd pay a smaller chunk and you'd have to pay it less often. We'd like to get everybody enrolled on this and have 100% participation from the club. But if not, then we understand. Just let Linda know. What we need, though, is for each person to opt in. We can't just automatically enroll you and tell you what you're doing. That wouldn't be meeting our four-way test very well. So instead, we invite you, please, could you come by the meeting today and see Linda and let her know if you're willing to move to an automatic draft. It would really help us. As Pete Ciccone pointed out last week, he is our new collections officer and he is Italian. So if you value your kneecaps, you can sign up for auto draft. We appreciate everybody's consideration on that. Likewise, we've got some important membership things happening. In absence of Diamante today, we've got our very own Harrison Turner coming up to talk about some membership. Harrison.
Thank you so much. How's everybody doing today? That was pretty good for the first time. Let's hear it one more time for Diamante's sake. How's everybody doing today? There we go. Wonderful. Honored to be up here today to provide a quick membership update. Nick Wood was supposed to be here today for his second reading. Unfortunately, he sprained his ankle really bad. Is not able to get here today, but we look forward to hearing from him next week, as well as Brandon. Both of them will be inducted next week and hearing a little bit more about their why Rotary, as we typically do with our incoming members, trying to figure out and hear from them about why they're excited about joining Rotary. So that next brings me to somebody named John Riley. Do we have a John Riley here? Come on up here, John. Today is a good day for John because he's getting rid of his red badge. That's right. John Riley, we have been so honored to have you as a member of this club. You have jumped in with both feet, heads first, figuring out ways to be involved in the club. And as you joined the club, you were provided a list of things that you needed to do to go from having your red badge to your blue badge. For those who might not be familiar with that looks like, that's going to a board meeting, getting involved with service projects, going to social after hours, and bringing guests, all those things you have done. And so today it is my honor to provide you taking rid of your red Rotary badge and providing you with your permanent blue Rotary badge. There we go. Hot mic. Here you go, John.
Thank you, sir.
We thank you for your commitment to this club and look forward to growing with you, brother. Thank you so much. That is it for membership, John. Tommy.
Excellent. You can call me whatever you want, Harrison. Thank you, guys. And we've also got a service update today. And as James told me, we have been upgraded. So if you guys would, we'll let Maddie make the announcements today.
Hi, everybody. My name is Madison Guerrera. James is out of town visiting family, so he asked me if I would make the service announcements today. The main thing is our Christmas in July event. That is this weekend, the 24th from 8 to 10, I believe, 8 to 10. We are still looking for people to sign up. Is it 8 to 10, Kevin? Okay, it's not 8 to 10. It is 10 to 7, guys. I flipped them. It's okay. But yeah, we're still looking for people to sign up. It's going to be at the Wake Forest Walmart. So come out and support a good cause. And then our next thing is regarding the Salvation Army food drive. We have seen a lot of success with this. We'd like to see continued success and continued participation. So if you have any questions, just let myself or James or someone on the service committee know. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good. All right, there we are. We will do I haven't turned the page yet. I'm not as, there we are. All right, so we've got a fundraising update with Mr. Mike Brennan.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you. I'll be kind of trying to fill in for John's shoes this year, but John did a great job. We're going to continue on with the success that we've had in the tree campaign. We have had put up some slides previously where we all know we've made it to 80,000. That's great. We want to make the push to 100,000. So anybody you know that might be interested in supporting, let us know. We are going to also continue with a kind of ending the America 250 and sort of kicking off into our tree fundraising into the coming years. We want to continue this, and we're going to try to make this an annual celebration where October is going to be known as Oaktober in Raleigh, and we're going to be planning every year to kick off the tree planting season at the beginning of October. We have locked down a date that of October 10th, which is a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be at Dix Park. kind of near the House of Many Porches. We'll be able to be underneath some oak trees. We've already coordinated with Trees for the Triangle, where we're going to be giving away saplings. We're going to put together some tables for some kids' activities, do an ice cream giveaway for however long we have the ice cream for, and basically kind of start this thing off a little bit slower, easier, and then we'll kind of build on this each year as we continue to revisit it and we continue to provide trees for this great city that we're part of. But that was it. So that's all I'm allowed to talk about yet. There'll be more to come.
Thank you, Mike. Our fundraising crew is hard at work. What you guys see here on a Monday is hardly a representation of how much is going on behind the scenes. So if you guys get a chance to see Mike or John or anybody on the fundraising committee, please thank them for their work. Birthdays and well, nope. That's all right. Upcoming meetings. District Governor Pat Gallagher is going to be here next week. If you guys haven't heard Pat, he's actually a lot of fun. I know that sometimes some folks come from the district and it's not as fun. I assure you that won't be the case. He's an excellent speaker. We're excited to have him. The following week is Tom Oxholm, and he is a guest of Mary Moss, and Mary Moss says he is outstanding. Everybody I've heard that has heard this guy speak has had great things to say. And then streamlining business tools with Alejandro on August 10th. So those are our upcoming meetings. And let's see. Nope, wrong way. Do we have birthdays and anniversaries, or we don't have any? No, there are no birthdays and anniversaries. Very good. Well, then we are going to do our raffle next, our very own Charlie Upshaw. Do you need a minute, Charlie? Should we come back to you? Okay. Okay. Are we 150 total? So the winner gets 50? Set 50. They get a third. Yeah. So if you sold 150, they get 50. That's good. Somebody was about to be super disappointed. Glad we straightened that out. All right. You want to have our guest pull a ticket for us? Pull us a winner? 850. That's pretty close.
And the winner is, thank you, 144718, 144718.
Shocker. Shocker. You got the cards?
Yeah, supposed to pick out of a deck though.
Yeah, let's get you the cards here. That's all right. Mike, we'll call you back up to pull from the deck at the end. How about that? We'll do it right before the four-way test. That way we don't hold anything up. Thank you, Charlie, for selling tickets today. Happy Dollars. Let's see, Happy Dollars is also Charlie today. So we'll bring Charlie back up. You guys have Dementia Alliance buckets on the table. You can put your loose change and your dollars in the Dementia Alliance buckets. Likewise, if you don't have loose change or dollars, you can make a commitment on the back of the Monopoly money on your table, write your name and your dollar amount, stick it in the bucket, and Linda will add it to your tab. So you can always do that. All right, Charlie, Happy Dollars, sir.
Thank you, President Tom. I'm happy to see Mark Livingston. I'm happy to see Pete Ciccone. I'm happy to see Patty. How you doing, Patty? Anybody happy today? Mike.
Give you $5 for my winnings because I won again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody over here? I'm happy to see Tom Holder too. And Kevin. How you doing, Kevin?
Thank you, Charlie.
Oh, Harrison.
I've got 4 happy dollars because, they say that the best position in the club's the immediate past president. Man, having lunch in the past 2 Mondays has been absolutely nice. Tommy, you'll get to have lunch in a year, I promise, okay? There you go. What else?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Harrison. Thank you all.
Thank you, Harrison. I call it, when I get to sit out there, I call it sitting in general population. So you're out there in Gen Pop. So very good. Well, guys, we've got an amazing opportunity today as far as a speaker. This is somebody that was previously scheduled. We had to reschedule because of some snow, if you'll believe it. But today doesn't feel like snow. I think we're safe. It's definitely not snowing in here. So Adrienne Cole is president and CEO of the Raleigh Area Chamber. She leads the Triangle's largest business membership organization, representing 2/3 of the private sector employment in Wake County. That's difficult to wrap my head around even. But it says, in this role, Adrienne and her team support the interest of local business community while building a thriving regional economy, enhancing the community's quality of life, and strengthening member businesses. Under Adrienne's leadership, the Chamber and the Wake County Economic Development has led economic development projects totaling $7.74 billion with a B and 26,000 jobs since 2014. Adrienne has been the recipient of the Triangle Business Journal's Women in Business Award and the CEO of the Year Award. She's also been recognized by Business North Carolina in their Power List. Adrienne was the recipient of the TCREW Impact Award, the T-Crew Impact Award in 2023. And she and her husband, Walt, live in Raleigh, have 3 kids here. Adrienne, come on up. We're so glad to have you. Thank you. Pleased to have you. Come on in.
Thanks so much for having me, all of you. And can everybody hear me okay? Richard, can you hear me back there? Okay, great. I promise not to do death by PowerPoint. I do have quite a lot of, I want to make sure I can see people behind the pole, sorry. A lot of statistics. So I'm going to share a bit about the Chamber, a bit about me, and then some of what we're seeing in the market from an economic development perspective, the data that's really helping to position us in a winning place. I hate having my back to people. In a winning spot for economic development projects and some of the work that we are doing. Quickly, I'm a North Carolinian. I was born in Raleigh. There aren't that many of us around. I was raised in New Bern, North Carolina. My dad was an attorney with Warden Smith. He was the 7th attorney in the firm, and that's what took us to New Bern. I went to Meredith College undergrad and then Appalachian State University to get my MPA, but then went back to start my career in Pamlico County. So heading at, and all of this is relevant, and I'll connect the dots here for you, but when I graduated with my MPA and I'd been sort of traveling and doing some other things, my dad said, it's time for you to, put that degree to work. And he said, Pamlico County is looking for a county planner and economic development director. And I said, Dad, they're not going to hire me. I don't know anything about anything. He said, sweetheart, they can't afford anybody with any experience. Give it a try. So I go to work there, and I'm the county planner and economic development director and department head of building inspections, emergency management, 911, and I was the fire marshal. I was 25 years old. So they really couldn't afford anybody with any experience. But I learned so much working in this rural community with commercial fishing and agriculture as their 2 primary industries. We had 11,100 people, 1 stoplight. I also met my husband in Pamlico County, and we're coming up on our 28th wedding anniversary, so it must have worked. For years, I said it's because I was the only choice, but I'm thinking now that there was something more to it than that. Then went into economic development in Carteret County and led the Economic Development Council there. And I've been with the Chamber now for almost a little over 19 years. I ran Raleigh Economic Development, which is a program with the city, and you see the Raleigh Economic Development logo up there. The person in that job now is Kyle Touchstone. Kyle is wonderful. He's the director of Raleigh ED. Then I left and I went into the private sector for a few years. And then Harvey Schmidt, the longtime Chamber president, I see heads nodding, who many of you knew and or know, and he's a mentor of mine, brought me back to run Wake County Economic Development. Called me on a Sunday, said, meet me for breakfast. I did, and that's what brought me back to the Chamber. And then when Harvey retired, I didn't put my name in the hat the first time. They hired a gentleman from Florida, and he was here for about 18 months. And when the position opened again, I put my name in the hat, and I've been in the job now for a little over 9 years. So with the Chamber for 19 plus, which is hard to believe, raised my kids there, I like to say. But I ran Wake County Economic Development, which is a public-private partnership with Wake County government to support all 12 municipalities in Wake County, and we'll dig into that a little bit more. We lead a talent recruitment effort called Work in the Triangle, where we are recruiting talent in to meet the needs of our business community. We not only work with our K through 12 educational partners, our community colleges, our colleges and universities in the area, but we're also recruiting talent in to meet the needs in the market. We lead the Regional Transportation Alliance. Some of you might be familiar with Joe Malazzo. That is a 15-county effort focused on mobility. So it's a business-led program focused on enhancing the mobility in the region, because we're not only moving goods and services, we're moving brains around this place. And then we have a foundation that is a closely held 501c3. We're not a grant-making organization, although we will partner with other nonprofits to move the work forward. Our leadership programs like Leadership Raleigh and Emerging Leaders and a new executive leadership program that we're doing are under the Chambers Foundation. So this was already in the bio, but we do work to create a thriving regional economy. We really work on those things that the business community says are important. The business community is sort of my North Star. We are nonpartisan, so we do not have a PAC. We do not endorse candidates. That's an important distinction. Some chambers across the country do. We work with whomever is elected to move the priorities of the business community forward. And that has worked well for us. It allows us to work with whoever is in local elected office, whether that is at the local level, the state level, or I was in a meeting earlier today with Senator Ted Budd talking about the defense technologies industry and how we can build a more thriving defense technologies cluster in North Carolina. So we are the East Coast made easy. So there's all the things that you can access in larger markets here. And this is often a differentiator for us from an economic development perspective. You all know all of this. When we're talking to people from out of the market, we have to kind of orient them. A lot of times when they fly in, they see trees, which you'll see from RDU today when you're flying to Austria. So, you know, and we have to tell them that there's a state park on one side of 40 and the largest privately held technology company in the world, SAS, on the other side, and you can't really see either of them. So we do orient folks who are coming into the market. And then, as I mentioned, we work with all 12 municipalities from an economic development and a transportation perspective. This can look a lot of different ways. It can be on permitting challenges that a local company might be bumping into, to recruiting headquarters or advanced manufacturing or life science companies to those areas. We've done a lot of work in the life science space in Holly Springs the last several years, but it's important to note that that community started positioning themselves to win life science projects over 20 years ago. So these things often don't happen overnight. They build over time with a lot of intentional leadership and policies. So from a connectivity and transportation perspective, we're looking at all the things. So our organization was very, very involved in the completion of the 540 loop, which has literally added time to people's weeks as they're able to navigate the region, to the recruitment of direct flights. We were involved in the Dublin flight recently, or the Frankfurt flight recently. We also worked on the Paris flight. We've worked on the Iceland flight, but then also connectivity within the US. If we've got companies that want direct flights, we can help with that. And then we've been involved in the Bus Rapid Transit project, the first leg of which is being built along New Bern Avenue in front of WakeMed. So thriving job hotspot, we are, from a population standpoint, I know some of these are, oh, you got them up here and you don't have lines there. That's great. So second fastest growing population outside of Austin, Texas. So one of the fastest growing cities in the country and one of the fastest growing counties in the country. With that comes significant opportunity. We're also spending a lot of time working on infrastructure. So how are we meeting the needs of this growing community in a forward-looking way? I want this place to be successful long past my time in this seat. And so I spend a lot of time thinking about what do we need to be doing to make sure that this place still works 50 years from now. And then I won't read some of those accolades for you, but we've been very fortunate in the accolade space. And our population in the Raleigh-Durham market now is 2.2 million. So we're growing by, oh, that got all higgledy-piggledy, didn't it? Well, I'll just talk about it. That's when my Eastern North Carolina comes out, the higgledy-piggledy. So the region is growing by about 117 people a day, Wake County about 66 people a day. So that is a kindergarten class a day for just Wake County. And you see the breakdown, 36 are moving from other countries, 25 are moving from another state, and 32 from another county. Average age is 27 years old, and our average age of residence is 36, although we are seeing more and more retirees come into the market too. So welcoming people from all over. You see our top 5 states for in-migration are New York, New Jersey, Virginia, California, and Pennsylvania. And then top 5 countries, Honduras, India, Mexico, Japan, and China. So from a talent perspective, we are still, and this is a differentiator for us on our economic development perspective. So we are a hot spot for talent. And it's not just the 3 tier 1 research universities, it's other colleges and universities, but it's also people's willingness to move here, start careers here. Many people still pick up, don't have a job, want to live in a place with a high quality of life and a lot of opportunity, and then relocate here. And you see some of the accolades support that. We also, when I first started here in the Raleigh Economic Development role in 2004, we were still seeing a lot of college grads who would graduate and then go to a Chicago or a New York, and then when they were ready to have children, come back. We're seeing less of that. More and more they're graduating and staying, which is great for our companies. So, and from an education attainment perspective, we are one of the smartest regions in the country. You see that we're at 58.4% in Wake County with a college degree, a bachelor's degree or higher, and that's higher than Washington, D.C., Boston, New York. It is quite the statistic, you know, when we're talking to companies who are trying to access talent in the market. And then higher education, you all are from here, you know that we're a powerhouse in this space, and we work with all of these partners. And I will tell you, you know, we are so collaborative in this market, and it's really very unique. I'm asked to speak to other markets all the time who want to understand how we do what we do. We work so closely with our academic partners, with our business leaders, with other nonprofit leaders, with our public policy partners at the state and local level, be they elected or appointed. It's unique. We pride ourselves in that. I tell my team that we're not going to have sharp elbows, that we're going to keep them tucked in and work with whoever we need to work with to get things done. A great example is we had a client in town a couple weeks ago. I happened to be on vacation, but my team reached out to me and said, hey, you know, we'd like to get the university chancellors in this meeting. It's a high-level project. So I reached out to Chancellor Roberts, Chancellor Howell, and President Price. All 3 of them had responded to me within an hour. And if they were able to come, they came. If they weren't, they assigned another high-level leadership member of their team to come to this meeting. That's the type of collaboration that we enjoy that really is very unique. And then you see these statistics are pretty interesting. So we have 9 local colleges and universities with 107,000 plus students, 32,000 graduating. Then you add in the community colleges, another 128,000 students enrolled with 14,000 graduating. And then to get a total of 15 institutions of higher learning, 235,000 total enrolled, 46,000 annual completions. Wake Tech alone is close to 70,000 of those. So again, really impressive numbers. And then from a work smarter perspective, we are still a reasonable cost of business market. You know, it's interesting, if you live here, you're feeling costs tick up, right? If you're from out of the market, we're still a very, very reasonable cost market for relocation. So that's a differentiator for us from a economic development and talent recruitment perspective. So some of the other tax climate information, our corporate income tax rate is 2.25% now. And then, you know, favorable tax climate overall, especially when you see us compared to some of the other states with whom we compete. And that's creating that cost of business climate that's favorable for us. And then commercial real estate as well remains favorable in the market. We have, you know, I would say we have product in, you know, most of our submarkets. The challenge has been there's been such a flight to quality that some of our Class A, what would have been seen as Class A product before, is now seen as A- or B. And so we're needing to build new, and the new, getting it done in the time frame that clients want can be a challenge. And so we're spending a lot of time on the front end, making sure that sites are served, that we have, if the building isn't isn't being constructed, it's at least teed up to be constructed. So we're doing a lot of that front end work to try to meet clients' timelines for that true Class A office that folks are wanting in the office space. And we are starting to see some office projects tick up. They're often still associated with a life science project or an advanced manufacturing project. We are not seeing the office yet that we were seeing pre-pandemic, hoping to see that come back. And then we're a very diverse industry ecosystem. This is also a superpower for us. You know, we compete with other places around the world that might be very strong in life sciences or might be very strong in tech or might be very strong in advanced manufacturing. We're strong in all of those areas, and there's real magic where they overlap. So that convergence across industry sectors can often be a differentiator. So as an example, Biogen, life science company, has expanded multiple times in Research Triangle Park, has their global data group here. So you might not realize that, but that ability to leverage data analysts, data scientists in our market has been part of what has led to Biogen's continued growth in our market. And we see lots and lots and lots of examples of that throughout the ecosystem. And then some recent announcements, you heard some of those numbers. Fujifilm has, we worked their initial Fujifilm film entry into Holly Springs, and then we ended up competing for an expansion about 2 years before we thought we were going to be. So that's created opportunities and challenges as we meet their needs out in Holly Springs. Weatherby is in Raleigh. Audemars Piguet is a very high-end watch maker from Switzerland. They are in Raleigh. So these sort of are throughout the region, but great projects. And then quality of life is something that we continue to pay close attention to. 26 minutes average travel time to work. We have an executive committee member, Paul Arince, who's lived here for 3 years. He's the site executive at MetLife over in Cary. He moved here from New York. He said moving here added 11.5 hours a week to his life. He's got 2 young children, a wife who he enjoys spending time with, and gaining 11.5 hours is real. That's no joke. So, you know, I love that we have, you know, the music venues, the breweries like we are here, the miles of greenway trails. All of those things contribute to a community that people can live in and thrive and exercise and enjoy their own hobbies. And it creates a really special place. And then cost of living, this is an important slide. So the national average equals 100, and you see Raleigh's at 93.4, so less than the national average. Austin sitting at 97, Atlanta a little better than us at 93, and then you tick up Denver 109, Washington 134 against 100, Boston 147. So continuing to watch those numbers. Obviously, the gas prices are fluctuating a lot, and that was last quarter's data. So gas prices have been ticking up and down within the quarters that we do the analysis. So that's a little different. And then housing, the average new home price, $453,944. That is, you know, significant when you think about where we were even 10 years ago. Again, the affordability question is one that I think we have to continue to be aware of and mindful of. The Chamber is running the bond advocacy campaign for the city's housing bond that will be on the ballot in November. We ran their $80 million one a few years ago. We work closely with Wake County from a housing perspective, and it's not only housing affordability, but also availability, making sure that ordinances support more housing development and more housing stock in the market so that the supply and demand equation works in addition to the cost of housing. So I think we have to be mindful of these prices as we work to meet the needs of our entire community. But then renters are, and then you see some of the other rental information too. Okay, so that's it in a high-level nutshell. I'd love to entertain any questions, and I see one on the front row. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know that you're I know a lot of parts of the world
Mm-mm. Mhm. Yeah, it's less for us to do with birth rates and population and more to do with more school choice. So we have more kids who have been going into private school with the voucher system that the state has, as well as homeschooling. And so the county continues to grow. Our birth rates are continuing to stay high. Now, this is not the case across the state of North Carolina or even the country. You know, there's plenty of places that are losing population. That's just not our story here.
Adrienne, thanks for your talk. Great. Are you guys tracking? We have 20,000 service men and women coming out every year. Tracking how to attract.
Yes.
As a great labor force here.
100%.
Once coming transitioning warriors, this is a huge deal for both defense.
Absolutely. And it's such an incredible labor force. So in our work in the Triangle effort, we have some targeted efforts around veterans and veterans who are leaving because, I mean, North Carolina, with all of the military installations across the state, trying to capture them, working to try to help. So we've worked some with the North Carolina Military Business Association to try to help translate some of their qualifications into corporate speak, because there's often a gap between those, and then they can't make it through the filters, particularly with AI now playing such a significant role. So trying to identify them and then help translate their skills into corporate skills here. But then beyond that, North Carolina has not done as good of a job as we should have been in capturing the opportunities in the defense and defense technologies cluster in the state. I think that, and I can't put my finger on why, and that's not a Wake County thing, it's a state of North Carolina thing. I don't know if it's because did we just assume it was happening because we had so many military installations across the state? I don't know. But we are very vigilantly now working to identify all of the assets within the cluster, the departing military from installations, the private sector partners who are in the space, the programs happening at research institutions, and how we can align that to capture more of that economic development opportunity, more similar to what we've done with life sciences. Because it's just, we are punching so far below our weight in that space, and it annoys the heck out of me. And, and there's going to be $1.5 trillion coming from the federal government for defense opportunities and defense technology, and hello. So it was the meeting that I was in this morning. We're in, and what I love about it too, and this goes back to my earlier comments, I'm an Eastern North Carolina girl, but I'm a North Carolina girl. I mean, we own property in Ashe County now. It was like a dream. Yay, got it done. So we have an old farmhouse that was built in 1900 there that we adore, and I love the people of Ashe County. It's very rural. I'm from Eastern North Carolina, and certainly I grew up, under the plains flying out of Cherry Point. And there is so much opportunity for rural North Carolina as well as urban North Carolina with this opportunity. So I'm excited about it, but there's a lot of work to be done. Other questions? Yes, sir.
Does the Chamber of Commerce have any formal relationship with police department in terms of audio like issues here?
Absolutely. In fact, we had I had a board of directors meeting last Wednesday, and the downtown district commander, Bill Nordstrom, came to speak to our board, along with Lieutenant David Davis. We'd asked the chief of police, Rico, who was wonderful, to come and speak, but he was tied up speaking to another group. So Bill came and shared statistics, not only for downtown Raleigh, but for all of Raleigh. The statistics actually are quite good comparatively to other cities our size, but that doesn't mean that they're perfect. And with the teen takeover that recently happened on Glenwood South, we had booked him to come and talk before that happened, but you can imagine that was of interest to our board. So we work closely with him. We've been supportive in terms of gathering business leaders to Last summer, there were issues around the bus station. We went before the city council and encouraged private security to help with downtown and to support Raleigh PD. We've worked with them on filling open recs that they have. So, they've gotten their staff numbers back up again, but right after the pandemic, they were 200 officers short. So we've worked with them in that regard. The business community is very engaged in public safety in our market and quality of life. And so we stay in close contact with them, and they know that they can call us if we can be supportive at the local level or at the state level. And we also work with Sheriff Rowe. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, not looking at you, but my question's on aging. My question is on aging. I understand it's not what it is here, but there are more people now above 65 years old than 18 and under. Which is a huge, for the first time.
That's a swing,
And
yeah.
I know that half of the children born today will live to 100 years old.
Standard.
That's just amazing. How is the aging, how we're dealing with that? I was happy to see some of the influx of fairly young folks.
Yeah, and I don't know that I have a great answer for that question. It is, what I can share is, correct, it's facilities, it's workforce, it's training, it's pay scale. It's a complicated issue. It is also, though, I'm pleased to say, a top of mind topic for our county manager, David Ellis, as they're thinking about social services that they need to be providing, EMS services. It is top of mind with our hospital partners. So several of the leaders of our hospital system sit on our board, and we've had discussions about that from a talent perspective. That's our lane as a chamber, is that talent piece and working with our talent providers. We do a regional skills analysis every year, not every year, I'm telling stories. We do it every 3 years. We just did it this year. And with that, we're talking to different industry sectors, including healthcare, including those facilities, and asking them what is the, what talent are they looking for and what is the gap that they're trying to fill? And then we share all of that with our partners who provide the training. So I don't know that we have a great answer to that growing population, but what I can tell you is that it's on people's minds, if that's helpful. Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, hugely, yes. We're not anymore, which is great. And I don't have the data right with me today, but I have the data that I'd be happy to share with you all in terms of the number of graduates who are staying here, as well as the talent in other states that are coming here. So we're now an importer of that talent where we used to be an exporter. But when you really, it's hard to quantify the impact of the Stanley Cup run. I mean, every single time a commentator said, "Live from Raleigh," I was like, yes. Because I think, one of the challenges is, so we're a smaller hockey market than some of the other markets, and we're the Carolina Hurricanes. And unless you know North Carolina, if you were to Google, where do you think the Carolina Hurricanes are? AI would say most people think that it's in Charlotte or in South Carolina, or they don't know. Well, that is unacceptable. And so now I think were you to Google that same question, it would come up Raleigh, North Carolina. So it was hugely impactful for so many reasons. And just those quality of life things that we have here, whether it is sports or music or restaurants or schools or available housing or parks and greenways or nonprofits that are doing amazing work where people can get engaged and volunteer. You know, all of those things create an environment where people want to retire or move here. The other thing that I think is so special about this place, and I tell new executives this all the time, that we're not parochial at all. You don't have to have been here for decades and decades to serve on boards, to roll up your sleeves and help. You know, you can show up and express an interest, and we're going to get you plugged in. And I think that that is a unique, special aspect of our community. I got 3. Wow. And Richard, did you have one?
So thanks for being here, by the way.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I think it's a complicated conversation, first of all. And I'll also say that I'm guilty of going in thinking that they are here in terms of being able to move their collaboration forward and find out that they're actually here, that they are fighting across municipal jurisdictions and county jurisdictions for economic development. They're not working with their academic partners. They aren't meeting regularly, so they don't know each other. You know, so what we do is, and I'll just give you a couple of examples that give you some visibility on this. So the Raleigh Chamber organizes several ongoing standing meetings with partners that have been going on for decades. I can't claim credit for them. Harvey started them. I just protect them and keep them going. So an example of one is we do a regional roundtable meeting once a month. That is me, my executive director of Wake County Economic Development, the Durham Chamber president, his executive director of Durham Economic Development, the Research Triangle Park, the Research Triangle Regional Partnership president, Ryan Combs. And we are very forthright about the economic development projects we're working. Like I don't get cagey at all. I just share. Now we don't share confidential information. They're usually under project name, but we're sharing that we're working it. And we work to support one another. It's not unusual for us to host an economic development client together. So a company might come in and say, I'm interested in Raleigh. And in talking to them, we realize that they're calling the whole region Raleigh. And so then we'll do a joint RFP or RFI response to that client's the questions that they have and host a joint presentation to them. And they're going to land where it makes sense for them to land. That doesn't happen in other places. So there's intentionality around the meetings that we are having. We do one that's specific to downtown. We do one that's specific to Wake County. You know, we are bringing these partners, and they're also position specific, not person specific. So when there is a new mayor, it's the new mayor attending these meetings, not, you know, you're moving on. We play to a parade, not a crowd. And so, you know, that intentionality is a piece of it. And then we have structures that support it. So as an example, we have companies that invest in our economic development work through our EDGE program. We are in the 7th 5-year EDGE strategy to support economic development. So we've done this is the 7th time. 25% of the private sector dollars we raise goes to the Research Triangle Regional Partnership because Ryan is marketing the whole region. So as a result, we are his largest investor. There are 13 other counties that are a part of our TRP, but we are his largest investor. So we aren't out fundraising in competition with one another from the private sector. We're doing that together. And then from there work on projects together so that we're better able to leverage those dollars. So there's intentional leadership around it, and then there are structures that support it. And I'm also not gonna have it any other way. I'm like, yeah, sure. Yes, sir. Baseball. Ah, such a great question. So, also well done, you, the two of you. So there was a request for a state appropriation to be added to funding structure at the local level. It would really be a public-private partnership. The private piece is that the owner has to pay for the expansion team to the tune of $3 to $4 billion. And then the stadium piece would be the public piece of it. There's significant economic impact to the state, not just to Wake County of this. You're correct. There was not an appropriation done in this budget. I'm always a very optimistic person. You know, they're going to be coming back to do corrections bills in late July. I'll be surprised if money for baseball gets in this time. And so now there's a conversation around the timing of the expansion, and might we be able to put a package together that would allow us to respond to those calls for expansions done by MLB. The commissioner really likes this market for all the reasons that you mentioned. We're a strong media market. We've got a fan base who would show up. We're a growing market. So it's maybe not as direct a path as it would have been had we gotten an appropriation from the legislature, but it's not dead either. I mean, you have to work hard to get me to give up on stuff. So it's a maybe. Absolutely. Thank you all so much for your attention. I appreciate it.
Well, a couple of things. One, I'd like to thank Adrienne, because lots of times speakers come and speak and they speak to us about whatever they want to, and they put their slides up and they walk us through what they want us to hear. But then sometimes we have speakers that are so dynamic, so excellent at their topics, that they're willing to take many questions from the floor and address what's hot for us. So another round of applause for Adrienne for expertise. And Adrienne, while we can see that you work very hard, we give away this coveted Rotary mug with our 4-way test on the back, and you can think of us late at night when you're working on bringing baseball to North Carolina.
I will put this to good use. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Adrienne. All right. And if time allows, Adrienne may hang out and answer some questions if anybody wants. All right, Mr. Mike Brennan, you want to come up here and draw one of these cards? David, do me a favor. Do me a solid here and hold that if you don't mind. There we go. Come on over here, David. All right. I'm not David. Mike, sorry. I know which one you are. 3 of spades, no winner. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you please rise, we'll have our 4-way test. First, is it the truth?
Truth.
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you. Thank you.